Revelations are emerging on how Nigeria got itself into the current insecurity that has spread to many parts of the country. A former chieftain of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, that's Abubakar Kawu Baraje, traced the origin of the current insecurity in the country to the influx of Fulani from neighboring countries like Sierra Leone, Mali, Senegal, Niger, and Chad, brought into the country for election purposes back in 2015. He also backed self-help initiatives of the Southwest governors, stating that responses of Yoruba Nation activist Sunday Igboho to the herdsmen menace were necessary because the federal government failed in its principal responsibility to secure life and property. Baraje, who once served as the party's national secretary and chairman of the breakaway faction of PDP, said the Fulani men causing havoc in the country are not aboriginal to Nigeria. Well, to speak more on the allegation of importing Fulani militias from Mali, Sierra Leone, Senegal to fuel insecurity so as to win the 2015 elections, former PDP National Chairman Alhaji Kawu Baraje joins us on Newsday. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you so much.
Alhaji Kawu, thank you so much for being here. So that was very revelatory, the allegations being made here. I'm just wondering the timing of this revelation and what role you might have played in all of this.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I just want to hasten to quickly correct a notion.
Okay.
In your introduction, you said a chieftain of the APC. I'm not a chieftain of the APC. I'm a chieftain of the PDP, a former national secretary and a former national chairman of the PDP. Yes, I was once on a sojourn into APC, but I'm back fully in PDP since and immediately, not long after the 2015 elections. After discovering that I don't belong there, I traced back my steps quickly before I got my fingers spun. So please, viewers and whoever is listening, I am Abubakar Kawu Baraje, CON, an important chieftain of the People's Democratic Party. So that is that. Then coming on the issue of the foreigners, I am very surprised and taken aback that what is trending now in the social media, that news that was attached, to me, is a fake news. That press conference, which has been referred to since last week or for the past few days, is the handiwork of mischief makers. I made a press statement as far back as 2019 on my 70th birthday. That's about two and a half years ago. When I was interacting with the media. And what I said that time was very clear. Many of the social media groups carry the correct thing. Only very few, which I call the mischief makers, and I still call them mischief makers, that carried the erroneous ones. And we have since clarified what I said. Thank God, what I said was in records, was in the prints. Even the mainstream media carried the corrections, and we have sent it out adequately, what I really said in that interview. So it is surprising that some social media found it expedient now to come up with wrong thing entirely, fake news, an interview that took place 2.5 years ago, coming as if it is a very fresh one, and not only coming in good intention, but with very bad intention of painting us black, of ensuring that they carry the good people along with the bad people. We are not surprised. I am not surprised, because this is the period that political mudslingers will continue to want to cling to the last straw when their own party is sinking. PDP is not sinking. I am not sinking. I am not in APC. And I would never be in APC. What I said categorically was that in 2014-15, in preparation for 2015 elections, all efforts were made to ensure that APC came into power. And as a build-up towards that election, APC never, or some people in APC never thought they were going to win an election. So all manners of scandals were prepared, to ensure that if APC didn't win, then Nigeria may not stay. That was what I said. And the correct thing was carried. And I'm so surprised that some mischief makers are at work. Even last week, they came up to put my name on the record that I am defecting to APC. And I told them that that's their wishes. It is this period that any sinking party will be looking for good character to smear, and not me, Abubakar Baraje. That's my stand.
Now, I'd like to follow up on something that you mentioned earlier. You said that you were indeed with the APC, but that you quickly left before you got your fingers burnt. Can you explain what you meant by that statement?
Yeah. You see, when political parties and associations form alliances, they form alliances based on some agreements. Such agreements becomes operational if such party that was put into focus comes into power. APC was the party that various groups came together to form. And it came around at a time when we had some internal problems in PDP. And I happened to be pushed forward to provide leadership for the group that was coming from the PDP, which was known as the new PDP, the font new PDP. So we were on agreement on certain issues. And immediately we came into power. No sooner that we realized that those agreements were being violated, we have to go back, because we stood for honesty, we stood for fighting for the masses, and the idea that we had before we went to agreement was that the individuals that we were meeting in APC, as they refer to themselves as progressive, the ideas they had was not progressive enough for us. That's what I mean.
All right, Alhaji Baraje. Speaking of broken agreements and the discord that tends to create within a party, you are a chieftain of the PDP, and we have all been watching as the play out for 2023 February elections go on. We know that the candidate for the presidential candidate for the party is in a little bit of a rough spot, or maybe that's a little bit too much of a harsh word, concerning Governor Wike and the push for representation, Southeastern representation, which has been a clamor for a very long time. We know that Governor Wike did not win the primaries, and neither did he win the vice presidential candidacy. Within the party of PDP as it is, will they be able to surmount these seemingly broken agreements in order to clinch the presidency in February of next year?
First of all, I'm not aware of any agreement, but let me quickly come up with this information to the public. Right now, I'm just coming from a meeting of one of the major organs of the party, the PDP, and that's the Board of Trustees. The meeting is still ongoing. We have not finished. Before I left to come and attend to this very wholesome interaction with you. As far as we are concerned, it is the fallout of the primaries. It is normal in every political party. I've already said it earlier in one of your programs about a month ago, that it is part of the fallout of primaries to have aggrieved individuals and groups within a party. It is the capacity of that party to solve their internal crisis through internal mechanism that will put to rest the hula-baloos and the confusion and complaints and grievances that may arise from such activities. And I am still saying very solidly too, like my contribution in the meeting that is ongoing now, that PDP is a party that has a very strong internal mechanism to resolve crises. Yes, Governor Wike is aggrieved, and some of the sympathizers within the party are also aggrieved. But I know it is not too late for us to put our house in order. And in fact, that is one of the reasons why today's meeting is going on about the BOT. And I promise you that in the next few days to come, what you refer to as crisis will be put behind us by the grace of God through the internal mechanism within the party PDP. Some of us know that these kind of issues do come up, but we do not want it to extend beyond this point. We do not want it to extend because we don't have time. Election is very close. By the next less than 60 days, we are going to campaign, and we do not want to go into campaign with this, normal, grievances situation. We are very sure that now, as the conscience of the party, the BOT is taking the bull by the horn. All other organs will be called into the show, and we shall put our heads together to put our house in order. So, as far as I'm concerned, like I said earlier on one of the programs, the morning show here about a month ago, there is no crisis that will put PDP apart. Because I know Governor Wike is a gentleman that has a lot of love and affection for PDP. He has shown it practically. He has shown it in action. And he's continuing to show it. Showing it. And those of us who are looking from a distance within the party, we know that our presidential candidate, a very, very delectable politician, an attitude and dogged politician, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, GCON, will put matters to rest.
Alhaji Kawu,
join the leadership of the party. Yeah.
There are some members of the electorate who see APC, and even though, of course, you've distanced yourself from APC, and they look at APC and PDP as one and the same in terms of, promoting or seeking the interest of the party at the expense of national interest. What do you say to that?
Well, I don't know. I don't if I understand what you are saying. People looking at APC and PDP as being the same. Well, the people that make all this party might look the same, but the contents are different. The contents are really different. The difference is very clear. The difference is, you can even see this. Without us making any fun of ourselves, within the 16 years that PDP has been in power, we never found ourselves in this kind of mess. That is the truth. It speaks for itself. For the past 7 years that APC has been in power, it has been passing bucks on PDP. 7 years. And our forefather says that if you are trying to test waters, you put a leg in the river, and a crocodile is dragging it. Why do you want to put the second leg? And I know Nigerians have known the difference now. So the difference is very clear. The people that are in the parties might look different. Might look the same, but the content is different, totally different. One is loaded with experience, is loaded with love for the people, is loaded with care, is loaded with actually carrying the masses along and drawing very beautiful programs for the masses too. And the other is whatever you think it is.
Alhaji Kawu Baraje. Alhaji Kawu Baraje, PDP chieftain.
Yeah, you talk of security, you talk of economy, you talk of whatever. Has it ever been like this? So the content is different.
Well, proud PDP chieftain, Alhaji Kawu Baraje, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.